Hey, what's going on, guys? So this is day 14 of the vocabulary challenge, and today, I just wanted to look at some really cool lines from Kamasi, Washington. This is from his song Change of the Guard. This is a live performance of it. It's a pretty popular video if you like his stuff on YouTube, and he's just got some great rhythm, and I really like what he does. So I thought it would be cool to just pick out a couple of parts and just show them to you and maybe talk a little bit about it really quick. Okay, and just so for some harmonic context, because this song is pretty modal, the main section and the section that the lines I'm going to be showing you today are from, it's just kind of going back and forth between like an E minor, E Dorian, and then like a D minor. That's the melody. The other part, in case you're curious, it's in the key of A flat melodic minor, and it goes between the modes of like D or E flat mixed Lydian flat 6, so it's like a dominant with a flat 13, and then like the D flat Lydian dominant or D flat 7, flat 5, but those are the same scale. Okay, just in case you're curious. Okay, so the first line that I picked is just, it's a nice line. There's nothing necessarily so new in terms of concepts about it, but I just like the way it feels, so I'll show you what it is. It's actually two lines, one after another. So here they are. Okay, so I'll play it back for you real quick. Hopefully I get these correct. The second line I have more down than the first one, but... let me do that again. Sorry. Right, then you got this. And especially in the second line, I really like how he approaches the fifth of E minor by this. So they're just really nice lines. They're not too complicated, they're kind of simple, but they just feel good. And again, that's the main thing that I want to take out of his stuff here, is just his rhythmic motifs are really good, and they sound really good, especially on the saxophone, and the way he blows his horn is just so powerful, so he really can, carry a band with his solos and his playing. Okay, so the next little part that I want to look at is over here. This part, I haven't practiced it too much, but it's really cool rhythmically. Right? So I'm sure I'm going to mess this one up in terms of the amount of times, but let's see if I can try and do it. It's cool because it sounds really staccato and stuff. Yeah, let's see. Let me do it one more time. Then this part is also cool. This is... that's like a type of thing that I think sounds really good on the sax. It's like, I don't want to say it's a cliche saxophone thing, but it's still a really cool thing to take influence from. And for the most part, it sounds like he's implementing like a 5/8 type of polyrhythm, or maybe 5/16 in this case. Or maybe like a 7. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. The way he slurs it, and then, maybe as he kind of develops it, I'm doing this thing where I have the unison on 2 strings, and then I have this half step to kind of embellish it. It's just great rhythmic stuff. It's something really cool to play around with, you're never going to get it to sound the way he does it if you're a guitar player, because there's certain things that lend itself really well to certain instruments. That's why even vocals, I haven't done any vocals yet on this vocabulary challenge, but vocals have great phrasing and they're impossible to mimic on other instruments, but you can still take really cool influence from them. Okay, so let me get to this other thing now. You know, he just carries a band, and you can see Thundercat in the back there. He's just kind of grooving really hard because he's loving it. The whole band is loving it, you know. And rhythmically, so if the quarter note of this song is like this, it's more of a 16th note thing where it's like double dotted notes. So it's basically like if you thought a double dotted quarter note, it starts in the first time it's like the downbeat. It's like 1 E and a 2 E, and then it's like on the third 16th note of beat 2, it comes in again, and then it's another 16th note after that, and then that's tied to the next one. So it's like 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E. But you don't even have to think so much about the rhythm, because this is something that you can feel. If you were to sort of translate it over to more of like a swing type scenario, or if you were playing jazz and it was more of like eighth notes with the more fast tempo, like 1, 2, 3, 4, what I would think of it as is it starts on the downbeat as a double dotted half note, or actually, I'm sorry, it starts as like a, you know what, forget what I said about the double dots. Even the first one was just a dotted quarter, and then it starts in the third 16th of beat 2. But here you have a dotted half note, and then on beat 4, it's like 4 and. So it would be like 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1, 2, and, you know. And the way he, the second, like the quick note that, like, I guess embellishes that, he switches it up. So it was like. And like I said, if you listen to it again, he's just blowing really powerfully with his horn, and it's the sound that carries this really well, and it just feels really good. You know, and again, it's really simple, it's extremely simple, but that's why it's really good to think rhythmically sometimes, because you can just take a basic rhythmic motif, especially if you're playing like a jazz standard. Like this is more modal over 1 or 2 chords, but imagine if you applied that to something like Stella by Starlight or something, and you just use that rhythm. I would mess it up probably right now, but what if I was like, or butcher a little bit, but I'm just trying to do it in the moment. But it's a really cool, simple, rhythmic idea that you can apply to anything, you know? It's easier when you're doing it over a modal situation, but even applied to chord changes, it can be really cool. And then another, almost even simpler thing that he does later that still sounds great and carries the band. Hold on. So, he kind of does the same thing, but then he just does the upbeat. You know? And then it goes off, you know? And again, rhythmically speaking, it's extremely simple, but it's very powerful, and it's a great tool that you can use. And, you know, I'm sure my audience, if you watch this, is probably a wide range of levels of musicianship and everything, but even if you're at a high level of musicianship, it's always great to try and realize what people are doing here. because it's just a great reminder that even sometimes, like I said before, the most seemingly simple stuff just sometimes is the best stuff, you know? I mean, it's not, you know, a groundbreaking point to most of you guys, I'm sure, but, you know, that was just a nice reminder, you know, studying this stuff a little bit today, you know? So this one was kind of, you know, I just kind of went through this one quick. There was not any specific lines other than that first line that I just liked that I thought would be a cool thing to use for vocabulary. But the other stuff I wanted to demonstrate were just really cool rhythmic stuff that you can explore, you know? So I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you tomorrow.